tunnel for decade after decade. This year's team features greatness too, with a chance to make history by winning yet another Big 12 title. But before the curtain comes up on the new season, one last chance to work out the kinks. Kansas hosts Emporia State now. Tonight's game is brought to you by Delta Dental, proud sponsor of Kansas Athletics. By Toyota, let's go places. By Rally House, show your colors. And by the Kansas Lottery, dream bigger.
Kansas volleyball.
Taylor Susie with the big block.
The Armed Forces Classic, live from Honolulu. On Veterans Day and nearing the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, we honor those who served and salute the troops with a college basketball doubleheader. The Cats High Flyers take on Izzo's Reloaded Squad. Then IU's big man in the post face the star-powered Jayhawks. The State Farm Armed Forces Classic, Arizona, Michigan State at 7, then Indiana, Kansas. Veterans Day, Friday on ESPN.
Welcome to historic Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. It's the final dress rehearsal for the Jayhawks. The season begins for real on Friday night in Honolulu against the 11th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers. But tonight, the Jayhawks are taking on the Emporia State Hornets. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong along with Chris Piper. And Chris, no secret, not a great performance against Washburn. What did they learn from that game? What do they need to do tonight?
Great thing about the players is they can forget about that game now, come out and play. But they've got to play with energy. They've got to attack the glass. And they've got to lock down defensively. And that is Kansas basketball. You do not give up 74 points, let alone to a Division II team. So I'll be excited to see the energy for Kansas players here tonight.
If there was a real glaring error, it was rebounding. The Ichabod's actually out-rebounded the Jayhawks, and that really falls on the big guys.
You know, -1 on the rebounds overall, but how about 19 offensive rebounds they gave up to Washburn? And Landon Lucas is a guy that got himself on the floor last year by doing the dirty work inside, man in the paint, getting on the glass, doing all that. It is imperative that the fifth-year senior lead these guys. Carlton Bragg is another guy. This is all the talent in the world. He's going to play the 4 spot. And you talk about him now coming out and starting for Kansas, and he lays an egg. Really hasn't had a great early practice season. He has got to become active for Kansas and look for them to change up that starting lineup here tonight. Carlton Bragg's going to be working his way in off the bench. And then the big fella, the freshman, you know, he had some good moments, but he fouled out 5 fouls in 8 minutes as Ibuka inside. He's going to learn. He's going to get better, but he's got to have leadership to show him the right way and follow that direction.
He was actually at Sean Vandiver's camp earlier this year helping out. Sean Vandiver, the head coach of the Hornets, of course a very familiar figure in the Midwest, a guy who played at Colorado and won a national title with Hutchinson Community College. Sean Vandiver in his 6th season. So let's check out his starting lineup, brought to you by Delta Dental of Kansas. Protect your healthy smile. Learn more about individual family plans at deltadentalks.com. Tyler Jordan, Brandon Hall, Jay Tamat, Josh Pedersen, and Terrence Sardin. That's your starting lineup for the Hornets. Now when you look at the second-ranked Kansas Jayhawks, Bill Self, he's actually in his 14th season now, and how about this? 12 straight Big 12 titles for Coach Self and these Jayhawks. If they win another Big 12 title this year, they tie UCLA's all-time mark, and he's closing in on 600 career victories. He'll have that before the end of this year. Here's his Delta Dental starting lineup. Frank Mason, LaGerald Vick getting the start tonight, along with Devontae Graham, Josh Jackson, going with the 4-guard lineup right from the get-go, and Landon Lucas in the middle.
Well, he hadn't been happy with the bigs, no question about it. Carlton Bragg hasn't been able to play the way everybody's expected him to, and so Bill said, to heck with it. I'm going with 4 guards out there. Imperative when you got this small lineup that LaGerald Vick and Josh Jackson can get on the glass.
Opening tip goes to the Jayhawks. Dressed in white, quickly up to Lucas. Powers his way in.
Oh, a nice drop step by The big fella gets him on his left shoulder, then spins to the basket. And just the spin move itself clears the space to get to the glass.
Emporia State played Arkansas on Friday night, lost 94-44. They had 30 turnovers against Mike Anderson's press.
Yeah, a little surprising. This is probably what the most veteran senior led team in the history of Emporia, and they struggled so much. But then again, I've been there at Arkansas. That thing starts going downhill. It's a rough one, and they love to get pressure. Kansas a foul already in the half-court defense, and this is an area I thought, Dave, that we didn't talk much about it. But you give up 74 points to Washburn. The thing that Kansas didn't do the entire night against Washburn was disrupt them at all defensively. Washburn did whatever they wanted to. If they didn't score, it was Washburn's mistake, not necessarily great defense by Kansas. And they have to, especially when they go small lineup, have to be disruptive on the defensive end.
Brandon Hall at the line. The foul was called on Mason. And Hall misses both free throws. Rebound eventually lands into the lap of Lucas. Kansas also being very vanilla on offense. They don't want to show either Indiana or Duke a lot of their good stuff. That's pretty good stuff right there, though, from Josh Jackson.
Well, 14 points in the second half against Washburn. He was scoreless in the first half. A lot of jitters. He able to calm himself down at halftime. Came out and showed what he's capable of. And there, just a nice little pull-up. Good read. Teams are going to give him space. They know how good he is getting to the glass. He's going to have to prove he can continue to nail that jumper.
Jordan trying to turn the corner. Shot clock down to 7.
Doesn't happen with Landon Lucas helping on the ball screen. He's so good at that.
Changed the shot there. Long rebound, though, comes all the way out to Sarton. Now Pedersen, no. There's Mason. He had 10 rebounds the other night. Mason, a blow-by.
Yeah, great job pushing the ball down the floor, Frank Mason, and he gets Sarton. Watch him just get him on his shoulder, gets him up in the air, and then he's able to get the little twist on the ball. It's a great angle here. Watch him get him on his shoulder. That way he's able to get him off far enough to be able to get that left hand up and get space on it. So good at gathering, taking the hit, absorbing it, not losing balance.
You take that line every night, huh?
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Love him pushing in transition, but he's at his best when he doesn't force the issue, and that's easier said than done. You want to push the ball down the floor, but you don't have to force things to happen. And Frank Mason's found good rhythm.
Three-pointer, good. Jay Tamat, Shawnee Mission West kid, now a senior. 4 seniors in this starting lineup. And a whistle and a foul first, no shot. That doesn't count. Foul on Brandon Hall. I think it's important in these exhibition games where Kansas doesn't play to the score. They just play the game at each possession.
Well, absolutely. If you play to the score, you're going to be playing sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill's not going to watch that very long. We saw that against Washburn. 23 seconds in the second half it expired, and he took both Carlton Bragg and Josh Jackson out of the game.
Jumper off the glass, no good from Jackson. He wants Josh Jackson to be aggressive all the time. And that's really kind of his nature anyway. Some of the guys they've had, like Wiggins, wasn't always aggressive. But Jackson seems to be a kind of guy that he'll play aggressively both ends of the court.
It's amazing Wiggins wasn't aggressive, and he ended up about 26 points in the game.
Yeah, I
mean, he had that. He's just so smooth. Wow.
Pedersen, that's a 2.
Wide open jumper.
5 straight points now by the Hornets. Lucas. Ooh, that's just way too strong for Sarton.
Well, he caught the ball a little out of his comfort zone there, about a foot or 2 outside the lane. Did a nice job of taking him right again, setting up that left-hand spin move, using the body to clear space.
He's playing a lot more aggressively. Just in the early going here, this ball tipped out. It'll stay with Emporia State.
Well, he's got a size advantage here as well. Watch where he catches that ball. He's going to catch it a little bit outside the lane. So the defense did the work there, but then it's that spin move coming back to the middle. He gets him on his shoulder and just clears him out.
What'd you say in that last game? Danny Manning used to tell the bigs, you got to score before you get the ball.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about position, angles. That one he actually made it happen after he caught it.
Sarton gives it up. Hall with 4 to shoot it. Tamat lines up a 3.
Nice job by Emporia State working the ball down and just taking their time, being patient. Slow rotation by Kansas.
It's a blocking foul. LeGerald Vick goes in strong. Foul on Pedersen is first. Vick going to the line. Looks like we're going to have a couple of substitutions for the Jayhawks. We talked about LeGerald Vick in that opening game against Washburn. This is a guy who has really improved from his freshman year to now his sophomore campaign.
Well, he showed flashes last year. You can see the athleticism. It's really just a matter of finding that comfort level for him. 6'5" and long.
Plus, quite frankly, he was not inside that 8-man rotation. He wasn't getting many opportunities.
You know, it's amazing. You look at Perry Ellis, Wayne Selden, Jamari Traylor, Hunter Mickelson, Ashek Diallo, Brandon Green. I mean, those guys are all gone from last year's team.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's hard to get minutes over all those guys.
Lane violation. And there's all those Big 12 championships. Trying to hang another number in 2017. UCLA's record right now stands at 13 straight. It would be, I think, even more impressive because in UCLA's era, not that they weren't great and they won a lot of national championships and all that, but there were only 4 or 5 really good teams in college basketball then. Now there are 30, 40 really good teams.
Yeah, and it's hard to, you know, compare between eras, different styles and things like that. But I just think about all the great players that Kansas has had to play in the Big 12 to rack up that many conference championships.
I mean, you don't see that kind of a streak in like the Horizon League or some of these smaller conferences, let alone the Big 12. Sarton gives it up with 2 to shoot it. Shot clock violation. That doesn't matter. Oh, Devontae Graham was running away from the pack. Doesn't matter. The Jayhawks will get it when we come back. Games, and it's 11-8 in favor of the Jayhawks. Time now for our diagnosis of the game, presented by Diagnostic Imaging Centers. Centered on you.
But for Kansas, do the little things, and those are the things that don't show up in the record for the stats, but keep you on the floor. Things like defensive assignments, rotation, like the last possession by Kansas, guys getting to their man, closing out correctly, doing all those little things. And then obviously, have we said it enough? Rebound. They got to rebound the ball, and it is even so far, Dave. It's 2-2.
Well, there aren't many missed shots, though. Not many rebound opportunities. The Jayhawks are 4 for 5 from the field, and the Hornets are 3 for 5.
Zone defense here by ESU.
Bragg gets the rebound, loses the rebound. Jordan picked his pocket. Whoa. Okay, when you're the coach's son, you've got that kind of range. You know,
you can shoot.
You got freedom.
Aaron Vanderver.
Aaron Vanderver started his playing career at Neosho Okana Community College. Jackson. Bragg's gotten the message, hasn't he?
That 2 offensive rebounds, just lost that first one.
Jackson couldn't corral that one. Here comes Hall. Hornets are getting some wide open looks. That was Taylor who missed from the wing.
Emporia State's done a nice job of moving the ball.
Not a good pass from Carlton Bragg, or was that more on Azubuike?
Yeah, giving up his position.
Whoop. That was wide right. And then 2 guys fighting for the rebound. Mikhailuk and Graham, and it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, the problem, you have 2 fighting for it, and then they both let go, but they'll let the other one have it. Rip it, steal it. Don't let your own teammates have rebounds. That's the time you go get it, take it.
Jayhawks hit their first 3 shots. Now they're just 1 for their last 5. Blocked by Azubuike. Mikhailuk behind the back. Mason. Wow!
Oh my. How about the big block from Doak inside, and whoo, I thought that behind the back from Svatoslav was a little dicey, and looking at it from that angle, you saw it snuck through because Emporia State wasn't even looking for it. But they'll take it right now.
Anything that creates a wow, I'm good with it.
Yeah. I'm happy for it.
Mason for 3.
Great ball movement that time. One side to the other. Hard to defend that when the ball moves.
Mason's already got 8 points. Vandiver. I don't think he learned that move from his dad. Boy, how good was Sean and Stevie Wise when they played for Colorado in the early 90s?
You know, Bill Self's always talking about ball movement, getting it from side to side. Watch this little handoff fake and then the quick pass across, and it's the extra pass from Mikhailuk who gets open, wide open in the corner, Frank Mason. Skip pass, extra pass. That gets you the open shot.
I think Vandiver with a moving pick. Yep, that's a foul.
Yeah, trying to do a little dribble handoff there to the guard and come through it. And Frank Mason's done a nice job of blowing that up last 2 times.
Looks like a zone now for the Hornets.
Yeah, 2-3, switching up defenses a little bit. Seen it a couple times, different ways to get into it.
That's one way. That's a good way.
I love the ball movement by Carlton Bragg at the high post as well.
Oh, heck, it's too good. The Wizard of Oz slams it down. Guarded shot, way off target for Taylor. Hornets are getting impatient now. Game's speeding up for him a little bit.
Yeah, well, they had great ball movement early.
Well, a steal, but out of bounds, Jordan. It'll go back to Kansas.
Middle of the zone is where it really breaks down. It goes high post, the defense collapse, the nice little shovel to Frank Mason, and then the extra pass to Azubuike underneath. Now, the big fella Doak, he doesn't have the greatest range in the world, but if you give him the ball right there about a foot from the rim, he's not missing. Well, there he goes.
What? Mikhailuk, no. Out of bounds. It'll stay with the Jayhawks off Stefan Leimel.
Like the big men mixing it up a little bit. Carlton Bragg active on the glass. Landon Lucas active on that glass.
Kansas up 10-4 in the rebound department.
All of a sudden.
Azubuike couldn't get it to go, but he got fouled in the process. So much better play by the Bigs so far in this one. The Jayhawks lead 18-11.
18-11 over Emporia State. We've talked about position, so important for the big men, where they catch the ball. Watch the freshman inside. Doka Azubuike. Watch where he catches it now. He caught it underneath the block. Kansas wants to drive him up the floor a little bit, so he catches it just above the block. See when he turns? He's got a bad angle to the glass underneath. Gets shoved there. He's got the ball behind his head, and he ends up getting to the foul line. But if he can just gain him, see, he wants to get a little lift, shove his man up the line a little bit more, so when he catches it, all he's got to turn is right there to the glass.
Good touch for a big man from the line.
Haven't seen him at the line yet this year.
Yeah, Azubuike, a 7-footer, 275 pounds, 17-year-old freshman out of Nigeria. Played his high school ball in Jacksonville, Florida.
8
Moved
minutes
to the U.S. in the 9th grade.
8 minutes against Washburn, 5 fouls. He was active.
8 straight points by KU. Emporia State has missed their last 5 field goal attempts.
Yeah, Landon Luke's got to be careful on that. He's so good on ball screens, being the big man that's guarding the screener, helping, flat hedge, hard hedge, whatever they've called at the time. But you hate to see him pick up fouls in that situation. Kansas not thrilled with the call, but at the same time, he's got to keep himself out of foul trouble in that particular play.
Now you see the big fellow out there for Emporia State, number 41, Bradley Fisher. He's a 7-footer out of England by way of Montana State. From the top of the key, no good for Javon Taylor. Graham gives it up. Graham fouled on the play and one.
I was wondering when Devontae Graham was going to get into the mix. That's what I like to see him do. Just power to the middle, work that mid-range jumper. He's such a good shooter.
Just a good athlete, isn't he?
Yeah. He can make his own shot.
Averaged 11 points a game last year.
You know, we get spoiled at Kansas and a lot of the top schools. The shot clock's running down. It is a luxury to have a guy you can just give the ball and say, go get yours. You know, I mean, that's tough to come up with those guys. And generally, the teams you see at the end are the teams with guys like that.
Lymel thought he was going to get a free pass to the basket until Landon Lucas had other thoughts.
Yeah, Landon doing a nice job of moving his feet. Coming over help side defense straight up, and there's that new rule. If you go vertical within that circle, if you go straight up, you can get contact defensively. And that's what Landon Lucas did. He just jumped straight up inside that circle. Whereas last year, that's an automatic foul if you get contact and your feet are in the circle.
And it felt like that really penalized the defense inside that circle. Shots good by Hall.
And Hall's looking nice. Sophomore, redshirted his first year.
And Graham will go back to the line. Foul here on Jay Tamat. You know, the Hornets are picked 11th in the MIAA this year, even though they have 5 seniors returning with a combined 133 starts. One thing they'll tell you, though, is the Hornets don't return any real star power. They have a lot of experience, but no guys that are going to go out and get 20 a night.
Yeah, well, you look at their game against Arkansas, they had nobody in double figures in that game. In fact, Malik McLemore led the team in scoring at 7 points. He's a 6'3" freshman.
But when you only get 44 as a team, hard to get anybody in double figures.
30 turnovers. Yeah. Gonna be tough to get shots up. I remember playing down there. It was early in Coach Brown's career. We played down at Fayetteville. And oh my goodness, the whole place was yelling "Suey Pig."
Was that Eddie Sutton coaching that team?
Man, it was terrible.
Yeah.
No,
it wasn't Eddie then.
But they were. Wow.
Good hustle by Vic.
Been good energy here tonight, hadn't it? And that's what you don't worry about who you're playing. You go out and play the same way every time. Gerald Vick. I tell you what, it's amazing. You know, Jeff Geldner in the Open talked about you play for the name across your chest, and the thought that occurred to me is that's true, but you also play to get your butt off the bench. So, you know, you got to go out and lay it on the line. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting over there with Coach Self.
So you play for the team, but you're also playing a little bit to make sure that you can play.
Absolutely.
And I'll say this, in watching Coach Self over all these years, he doesn't miss a thing.
No.
I mean, he's not just watching the ball. He's watching where other guys are on the court. And if you missed your assignment, or he catches you loafing at all. Jackson, no. Lucas. Lucas already in this game with 3 rebounds, and then Graham.
Well, what I love about this rebound for Landon Lucas, he takes it over 3 Emporia State guys. Look at that, 3 great jerseys around him battling, and wisely kicks it out. Again, side-to-side ball movement by Kansas, and the 3. And now what do you do if you're Emporia State? You got to foul Landon Lucas to keep him off the glass. That means he's doing his job.
Much more aggressive. That was the 9th team foul on the Hornets this half. KU has only 2.
Good talking inside. Josh Jackson and Landon Lucas sorting out the big men. Oh, there's a miss by Josh Jackson on the rotation, but he makes up for it with athleticism.
Vic for 3. Lucas. Mason. Graham. And that'll be a charge on Mason, his 2nd foul.
Now Josh Jackson missed the rotation here defensively, but goes up and just gets it. Great athleticism, aggressiveness to go get there. There's a ball screen pick and roll over here, and Landon Lucas was hedging. Josh Jackson had to get over there and help out Landon Lucas, and he got there. Nice block.
Well, the guys that can just hang in the air like that, they're rare, and he's one of those.
Well, and his quickness as well. He saw that he missed it, and he was still able. I didn't think there was any way he's going to get there. Sometimes that athleticism gets you in trouble too, because you learn to be a little bit lazy early against, when you're, especially in high school and things like that, where you can make up for it. Now, here at this level, that's a much smaller error of margin.
All of a sudden, the Hornets have gone ice cold. They're 1 for their last 10 and now shooting just 31%.
And not the shot selection or the ball movement that they had earlier.
That pass will get through. Jackson saved that. Got a little hitch in the way he gets the ball. Has Azubuike with a rebound, and Mikhailuk.
Big fellas are working, aren't they? Josh Jackson with the miss on the pull-up jumper, and how about reaching and going and getting the ball? Bill Self talking about Azubuike, talking about all his big men got to go get the ball somewhere. And Azubuike reached up there and took that away from 2 Emporia State players.
Foul on Azubuike on the other play, so he's got 1 now. But hey, Azubuike has played 5 minutes, only has 1 foul.
Hey, I guarantee you Bill Self's not going to be mad at you for getting a foul going for an offensive rebound.
Right. Bragg.
Not right
positioning. Now Devontae Graham. Mikhailuk. Mikhailuk. Red hot from the outside. You're watching the Jayhawk IMG Television Network. This copyrighted telecast of KU Athletics may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of IMG and the University of Kansas Athletics. With Chris Piper, I'm Dave Armstrong. Glad to have you courtside here on the Jayhawk IMG Television Network. Jayhawks right now on an 11-0 run, 21-2 run over the last 6 minutes of this game. And now Azubuike getting a lot of playing time here in the first half, going back to the line.
Got fouled on that last shot by Sardin inside for Emporia State, just trying to figure out a way to keep the strength off the glass.
Well, his first one looks good. He's missed a few since then. But still, 32-13 in favor of the Jayhawks.
Nobody's going to argue of being a connoisseur of a good shot. He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. It's all right. He's only 17. Good time. Mikhailu. Not just a three-man.
Yeah, I like the reach in by Mikhailik on the drive and then sprinting immediately. Look at that, 4 Kansas players beating Emporia State down the floor. That is not going to make Vanderbilt happy. Much different than the Washburn game the other night when we saw that actually the other way quite a few times. Washburn able to score in transition.
10 Jayhawk points off the turnovers for the Hornets, 7 of those. The Jayhawks only 4 turnovers so far in the first half, and whistling a foul here, and that'll be the second on Azubuike.
Team foul number 6 on Kansas. Returning from Emporia State, Stefan Lyon.
Graham almost got a piece of that. Good move by Brandon Hawley, went right around the big fella.
Yeah, and you see that's the difference. Landon Lucas able to slide his feet side to side. Azubuike is still learning.
Bragg from Mikhailu.
Falling asleep on the backside.
Jackson. Well, he's got quick hands. Poked away. It'll stay with the Hornets.
Now Kansas getting Carlton Bragg open on the back cut. He sets the screen first. His man helps, and then he cuts to the basket. Too late. Pass over the top by Mikhailik.
How about Mikhailik with 8 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds so far. All that in 9 minutes.
You know, he's a great shooter, no question about it. He's got to do all the other things to be on the floor. Moving screen.
Yep. And that'll be against Lymel, transfer from Jacksonville College. Sean Vanderver seeing this game get away from his Hornets. Whistling a holding call. This one against Sardin.
Dwight Colby trying to drive him up the line. What we talked about earlier when we showed you that play with Azubuike, and Sardin got his arm underneath holding him. So that's a tough call to me, because you got the offense is shoving you up the line. You're trying to fight back defensively. I think he had his arm underneath though and hooked him.
Colby, of course, who transferred from Ole Miss, had a knee injury and still recovering from that, the ACL. He's still not 100%.
Well, it's a pick and pop. Vanderbilt, Colby's got to know that Vanderbilt's out there right now. He's going to be looking to pop, not roll. Just recognition.
Colby backing in. Dumps it off for Bragg and just lost the handle. recovery. He got beat initially by Jordan, but made a good recovery.
Well, again, it's without Landon Lucas out there on the ball screen. The Kansas big men just aren't quite as adept. Colby's struggling a little bit. Doesn't get over there to flat hedge enough, and he's able to turn the corner, but Mikhailik's sticking with it.
Brandon Hall, the sophomore, looks like their best player. Although that wasn't the best pass. Vandiver. And the foul here is going against Dwight Colby, his first. That's now 7 team fouls on the Jayhawks. Vandiver will go to the line. Vandiver didn't get his dad's height. Sean 6'10". His son just 6'5". 3-pointer no good. Mikhailuk.
Zone again by Emporia State. They got really hurt in this zone with the rebounding. We'll see if they're able to be a little more active.
So Lucas will come back in for Colby.
Well, no surprise there. Colby gave up the offensive rebound. Colby gets to sit and think about it now.
Mason had a lot of options because he was wide open on the wing.
And again, from ball movement side to side. I mean, that is so hard. You wouldn't think it is, but if you're off on the other side helping and that ball swings that fast.
Mikhailik will go to the line. Good aggressive move to the rim.
That's his second personal foul. Correction, that is his third.
The foul on Lymel, his third.
Steve Mikhailik is shooting 2.
You know, Kansas had that 4-guard lineup going. We're still Lightfoot's a 4-man.
Yeah.
See if they go. But you know what? When you got Svi on the floor or Josh Jackson on the floor, or even Gerald Vick, to me, I mean, Sviatoslav Mikhailik 6'8", Josh Jackson 6'8". Gerald Vick 6'5", but got length like he's 6'8". I mean, you got the guards for Emporia State coming in at 6'1" or 6'2" or 6'3", and you got a 6'8" guard playing. Yeah, that's a different game.
Jayhawks now shooting 61% from the field. Only 30% for Emporia State. Just a much better overall performance by KU tonight. And another good move by Brandon Hall.
Just got too deep in the lane. Where was the help?
Yep.
Himself had the same look on his face over there. He had that. Where's the help, guys?
So we got a timeout. Jayhawks up big. You're watching the Jayhawk IMG Television Network. Welcome back to Allen Fieldhouse, where the Jayhawks have doubled up on the Hornets. This is the last exhibition game. It really gets going against Indiana and Honolulu on Friday night. That game about 8:30 on ESPN that night. And then the Duke Blue Devils on the other end of the United States as they play in Madison Square Garden in New York a week from Tuesday on the 15th of November. Again, that'll be around 8:30 on ESPN that night.
That's a long haul.
You look at Indiana, Josh Newkirk, of course, the transfer from Pitt. He runs their point. Tom Crean has done a good job with the Indiana Hoosiers, and they're expected to make a lot of noise in the Big Ten this year. And then, of course, Duke, #1 ranked team in the country with maybe the best player in the country in Grayson Allen.
Well, Duke's always going to be Duke. Huh? I mean, they're just phenomenal. That's been a good rivalry for Kansas. Say rivalry, but don't play them every year, but every once in a while. I don't know. Playing against Indiana without Yogi Ferrell at point guard. There'll be some learning curve there for Indiana. The pass over the top, Lightfoot showing that athleticism to go up and get it.
Good roll that time for Javon Taylor. He looks like a volume shooter.
I see.
Good lob again. Nice chemistry between the two freshmen.
Wasn't a great pass, but it was a good look. He'll get that one down. Gardner threw it in the basket.
Air ball. Devontae Graham. You know, watching Frank Mason move around the court, he'd be a great little running back, wouldn't he?
Oh, he's lateral movement,
Yeah,
right? He can go right, left, pop around, reverse.
I mean,
change of pace.
He'd be tough. You know, his size, he just move in there, the way he can move laterally and so quick.
Well, he takes a hit, too. I mean, that's the thing. He's really good at initiating the hit. That way he keeps his balance.
You know, Jayhawks fans are just glad he stuck with basketball because it's always good to have a good senior point guard.
Yeah.
And then you have the junior guard, Devontae Graham, and really the way Coach Self likes to do it, he's got two guards and they're interchangeable.
Yeah. Well, he can get down the floor. I mean, he's just moving around, doesn't see anything in there that he likes. Little kick to Josh Jackson, and that's what I talked about early. To Devontae Graham.
Yeah.
He's pushing the ball down the floor, but he's not forcing it. You know, and there's a difference. I mean, you want to push the pace and you want to get the defense on their heels, but the key is not to force things and try to, you know, make things happen where an opportunity isn't. And I think he's done a nice job of that so far.
Those two guys, Mason and Graham, haven't forced anything tonight. They each have 10 points.
It's an easy game when you let it come to you.
And Azubuike got there a little bit late, and then another foul.
Actually, let me rephrase it. It's an easy game when you take what the defense gives you. And I think they've done a nice job. Those two, I mean, it's obviously exhibitions time, but I mean, they've got to be mentioned in the top 5 backcourts in the country. I mean, they just can do so many things for you. I'm excited to see how they match up with Indiana and Duke. That'll be a real good barometer right off the bat.
Then after all that, they come home to take on Siena. We'll have that game for you right here on the Jayhawk IMG television network. Poked away. Jackson telegraphed that pass.
A little 2-2-1 pressure by Emporia State, falling back with them.
Now back in his zone.
Yeah, he had Carlton Bragg open in the middle. Good recognition by Bragg to find the middle of that zone. Back in the zone by Emporia State.
Bragg has the bookie now a little too far from the basket.
Well, he's still going to try to dunk it. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Jackson, he tried to dunk it too, and he got into a little stare down with Emery.
I like the aggressiveness out of the freshman. Good pass across middle and then baseline. Carlton Bragg so good at that high post. We saw that last year with him. And you got to talk to each other after that. I mean, it doesn't matter if you fouled or not. You still got to say something, right?
Emery's going to talk about that for the rest of his life. Remember the time I went up?
Wayman Tisdale dunked the ball. I mean, I just handed it to him. He dunked it so bad, went through the net, hit me in the face. I said, "Here, sir."
Here, sir.
He's like, "It's your ball now."
Wayman Tisdale. I remember John Sunvold used to say maybe the best scorer he'd ever seen.
Oh,
you know,
phenomenal.
He could just score.
Such a light touch.
Gone way too soon.
Might have been a better jazz player than basketball player.
Tremendous.
And he was a great basketball player.
Vic, I think, got a piece of that. Here comes Graham. 4-on-2 break. No look pass. That's a bookie!
Sean Vandenberg over there he's like, wow. Come on now.
That's That's what they came to see. Vandiver will quiet the crowd.
Is that all right? I got dunked on one end. I'll just go shoot a three on the other.
Vander with 9 in this game to lead the Hornets. Bragg saw Jackson streaking into the paint. Now Graham for 3. Halfway down and back out again.
Carlton Bragg maybe get a little too unselfish. He's wide open over there on that wing.
Zabuki didn't foul and got a piece of that shot. Vic. Jackson mistimed his jump. Hall. And he'll go to the line. Let's go back and watch Devontae Graham and Zabuki team up.
Boy, Devontae got great recognition of where they are on the floor, watching them pushing the break. He's going to look away a little bit and just toss it right up there. Nice soft touch. The big fella Doak running. He's pointing up at the rim saying, hey, serve it up. Got a little fired up, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Watch him point right here. He's going to say, hey, I'm ready for it.
He was.
Great pass. You know, Devontae and Frank Mason make that pass look so easy. Throw it to the rim, let your big guys go gobble it up.
And they do it on the move. You know, when they're going full speed, just make it look so easy. Always said the great players, and it's not even saying unique to me. A lot of people say it, but the great players really slow the game down in any sport. Mikhailu. Wow. This is as good as I've seen from Mikhailu.
That's a tough play. Tough play. Good closeout by Emporia State. Not to give him the 3, but it was such a hard closeout on him. He recognized and got to the basket. Took the hit.
Good first half for the Kansas Jayhawks. They came out on fire. They out-rebounded the Hornets, by the way, 24-14 in that first half. And Bill Self and Norm Roberts go off. And they have to be pretty pleased with what they saw in that first half. The Delta Dental halftime report coming up with the Jayhawks leading it 55-29 on the Jayhawk IMG television network. You 1% in the first half and lead 55-29 on the Delta Dental halftime report. With Chris Piper, I'm Dave Armstrong. Well, that's more like it, right?
Yeah, great effort. And, you know, I think the big guys really set the tone inside as well. They were battling, going for every loose ball, every rebound, good energy on the floor, and that's what Bill Self was looking for.
Well, we talked about the big guys in the open. Let's talk about them again now because they played much, much better here in Game 2.
Yeah, they were fantastic. You know, it's all about effort. And watch right out the gate, they throw the ball inside, let Landon Lucas go to work a little bit, but it wasn't as much. I mean, obviously they're scoring inside, but it's their hustle going after the ball. Landon Lucas keeping it up. 3 Emporia State guys. I love Carlton Bragg at that high post. So good with moving the ball. Defensively, Kansas has been on the glass as well, but, you know, Bill Self basketball starts with effort. And Bill Self had talked about going to get the ball, not waiting for it. And this whole half, we saw Kansas big men going to get it. Zabuki doing it. Carlton Bragg doing it. Landon Lucas doing it. And what happens? You get offensive rebounds. Your big guys are unselfish. You kick the ball outside, and you get wide open shots from the perimeter.
And oh, by the way, the guards also did well. Mason Graham with 10 points each, and Mikhailuk with a dozen.
Yeah, I mean, scoring hadn't been a problem, has it? I mean, it's been stopping somebody on the defensive end, keeping them off the offensive boards, getting offensive boards as well. But good effort by Kansas in the first half.
All right, we'll take a quick timeout. 55-29 at the half on the Delta Dental halftime report. You're watching the Jayhawk IMG television network. 55-29 our score on the Delta Dental halftime report. All right, Chris, let's take a look at some highlights. Brought to you by Delta Dental of Kansas. Protect your healthy smile. Learn more about individual and family plans at deltadentalks.com.
Well, you shoot great percentages from great shots, and they'll get that off ball movement. Kansas deny the handoff, the swing pass, and the extra pass. Wide open three. Frank Mason nailing a love. Kansas moving the ball around. And then defensively, the big fella Azubuike with the block, the great outlet. McCulloch with a risky behind the back, but it gets there. And then Devontae Graham adding a little mid-range to his game. The reach down by Emporia State, the foul and one, and gets there. And then watch this play. Carlton Bragg sets the ball screen and then slips to the basket. Again, Kansas looking, swinging the ball. Good ball movement by Kansas in the first half. 10 assists on 14 buckets.
Yeah, really good stuff. Jayhawks lead it 55-29 at the half. And we'll come back to Allen Fieldhouse in a moment. Tonight's game is brought to you by Delta Dental, proud sponsor of Kansas Athletics. By Toyota, let's go places. By Rally House, show your colors. And by the Kansas Lottery, dream bigger. Now the Jayhawks up 55-29 in their final exhibition game of the year. It all starts for real on Friday night in Honolulu against the 11th ranked Indiana Hoosiers. Let's look around the Big 12 and see who everybody opens against. Oral Roberts will take on the Baylor Bears. Mount St. Mary's against 18th ranked West Virginia. By the way, West Virginia picked second in the Big 12. St. Thomas and TCU, new coach Jamie Dixon with the Horned Frogs this year. Texas Tech will host Houston Baptist. Chris Beard, new coach of the Red Raiders. Oklahoma State also has a new coach. And Mr. Underwood, Brad Underwood, doing a good job already with the Cowboys, bringing that fan base back. Iowa State and Savannah State will go on Friday at 7 o'clock. Texas, they'll take on Incarnate Word. Western Illinois at Kansas State, Northwestern State. At Lon Kruger's Oklahoma Sooners, the Sooners will have a little different look this year, losing a lot of firepower, including Buddy Hield. And again, the Jayhawks open against Indiana in a very special commemoration of the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. You're watching the Jayhawk IMG Television Network. Until halftime report, about ready to get started in the second half, but the Jayhawks leading 55-29 over Emporia State. How about Svi Mikhailuk in that first half? Man, what a good first half he had all around. 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists.
Well, he was active, wasn't he? I mean, he was there on the offensive end, running the floor, defensively as well, shooting the ball. Obviously, you know, if you give him the look, he's going to make the shot from outside. But what a nice half by Sviatoslav.
So
and defensively too, and that's where you.
How about that?
You know, I mean, that's the thing that Bill's been getting on him about. But you know, you're 6'8". What is he? Is he 18 yet?
I think he's 19 now.
Just 19 now.
Yeah, but I mean, amazing. His third year with the Jayhawks, and like I said in the first half, I know he had 23 against Austin Peay in the NCAA tournament and all that, but I think it's the best I've seen him look both ends of the court so far, and he is one of 3 Jayhawks in double figures here at the half. Of course, the dynamic duo of Mason and Graham in that backcourt with 10 points each. And they've also added 7 assists each. So 10 assists. How about that? You look at 15 assists on 19 made baskets in that first half. Now, Garen Vandiver, he leads the way with 9 points. And then you look at Mikhailuk and Mason and Graham, and then Azubuike and Lightfoot. Lightfoot off the bench did a nice job with 5 points.
Yeah, he was active. Bill a little bit upset with him on a couple occasions. Help defense, getting beat on the glass as well. But you know, really, it's a battle, I think, for that 9th spot in the rotation between Lightfoot and Dwight Colby.
Let's look at the overall stats. I'm going to go back to something you just said. We'll do that after we look at these numbers. Rebounding is the big thing.
Yeah, 24-14. You know, you look at the offensive glass. Emporia State actually ended up with 6 offensive rebounds, but they missed a ton of shots, though, as well. So you're going to have more opportunities. Kansas got 8 offensive rebounds, though. So you're happy with them getting on the glass.
Chris, you were saying, Coach on light foot a little bit. It reminds me of something I read from a quote from John Wooden. He would tell his players, if I'm not getting on you, then that means I've given up on you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And you want the coach to correct you. You want him to teach you. You want him to coach you. Right?
Absolutely.
Is that the best way to look at it?
Yeah, it is. I'm just laughing because I've said it myself. But and Larry Brown used to say it all the time. Time to be worried when you don't hear me calling your name.
Yeah.
But I think that's where Bill Self is so good, is he can just get all over these guys and push them to a place that they didn't think that they could get to. But then after he walk off the floor, everything's just normal.
Lucas a little bit late on the rotation. Shot missed though by Jordan, and here comes Jackson. Look at Lucas. Talk about a shove, and he didn't get away with it either.
Boy, 2-hand shove in the back. I don't like that play because Kansas's strong side there hadn't moved the ball, and so Landon Lucas not open inside. He's got 2 defenders on his back. Get the ball swinging.
Tomato, Lucas. Well, he got his man blocked out, but then again just fell asleep going for the next rebound.
Yeah, and Bill Self went back to his 2 big lineup to start Carlton Bragg and Landon Lucas. You can't be happy that they gave up offensive rebound there, and it was a transition wide open shot that they weren't able to. Emporia State wasn't able to hit with Tomat with a shot from the outside.
Tomat from Shawnee Mission West, now a senior. Bragg, Lucas.
Carlton Bragg is so open in the middle of that zone that it just puts so much pressure on Emporia State. He catches the ball at the high post. He's got a wide open jumper. He hadn't looked at it yet, but then they're just beat underneath with the little lob pass.
As good as the Jayhawks have done from 3-point range, 5 for 9. How about this? 26 points in the paint tonight.
Yeah, and Kansas continues to throw it inside. Look at the middle of that zone. Carlton Bragg recognizing just going to come up. Emporia State talking about him, but nobody going to get him. And now you got the lob pass in the corner.
And a whistle and a foul. Again, an illegal screen. Second foul on Bragg.
Yeah, those are the mental mistakes you're not going to be able to make against Indiana. Duke possession is going to mean so much.
Yeah, you don't want too many empty possessions against teams like that.
Loose balls and offensive rebounds right now. The first 2 minutes going to Emporia State.
Yep. 3-pointer way off target.
Yeah, but lucky. Nobody going to get him. Landon Lucas pointing at him. It's not his man in that situation. Somebody's got to go get him. Bill Self seen enough already.
So he's bringing Mikhailuk and LeGerald Vick quickly off the bench. Bragg could go back to that 4-guard lineup. Hall. Quick rebound by Vick. Those first guys off your bench to really bring some energy, don't you? That's a foul on Tomat.
Well, you got to know if you're coming off the bench, you don't want your energy level to drop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to go up.
Yep.
And the amount of minutes you're going to get coming off the bench are solely dictated by how you play.
You want energy, and then you want, if you can, a real luxury is to have instant scoring.
Yeah, that's nice too. That's nice too, but it's not always critical. I mean, it's great to have a guy that can score, but Kansas has got enough scores.
You're really not worried about this team offensively.
No. But we might be saying something different after Madison Square Garden.
Mikhailuk shot is short. Mason got a piece of it. Pedersen.
Well, that's great ball movement by Emporia State that time to Mott. Just that one dribble brought that defense down, and the good kick pass to Pedersen on the wing. There you go.
Frank Mason said, all right, we need
Well, let's see. Are we worried about offense?
Yeah.
Here, take it. Go, Frank.
Why does it look like he can score anytime he wants?
I think he does. Right now, in this matchup, we'll see what that looks like against the Indianas and Dukes of the world here real quick.
Mason averaged 13 a game last year. Would you expect that to go up?
Yeah, by not much. 14 maybe. 15. No. This team to me, mystery.
That's the move you wanted. Basket won't count. The foul came first.
Did you say something about smooth, athletic earlier? Look at this. I mean, it just by Pedersen in the slow motion, you actually saw what difference in speed, and that's a hard guard anyway. When you're backpedaling and you got somebody coming at you full speed,
and somebody fast.
Yeah. Too much jump. Just got to go.
Hall. Mason will be called for the foul, and that's his third. That started at the other end with Jackson.
Too much junk. They can't stop you. Just make your best move to the basket. Just Pedersen puts his hand out, takes it. Mason across the arm. Good call. Best move to me is your first strong move. Just go. And until somebody can stop you.
It's like a good running back. They go. They get to the hole. There's not a lot of dancing in the backfield. You know, you go and you might dance downfield, but your first move is boom, you get into that line.
You know, the problem is replays generally show the guy that dances because that's such a great move to see. But you don't realize that they've danced 5 times and got it taken 4 times, and the one time they got to the basket. I love just a straight, strong move like this one. Here we go. Go. Boom. And they go to the finish.
Vanderbilt with the foul. That's 3 on him. All of Vic's points, all 2 of them from the line tonight. Vic scored 9 the other night against Washburn. Jackson, that's strong. Wow, that's strong. That's that aggressive move you wanted.
Yep. Just kept going downhill on him, got him on the shoulder. Good finish.
Turnover. That's the 11th turnover, and the Jayhawks up 64-35 from historic Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. Jayhawks up big, 64-35 in their final exhibition game. Jayhawk basketball team not set to get started. The volleyball team's already good. We'll tell you more about that in a second. But first, let's sneak in this. The Salty Iguana in Lawrence, home for Hawk Talk with head coach Bill Self. Tune in to Time Warner Cable of the Jayhawk IMG radio network and check your local listings. How about the volleyball team doing so good? They're coming back from a victory in Norman. And if they win out and Texas wins out, Longhorns and the Jayhawks would share the Big 12 title. Another good pass to Azubuike from Vic.
Now they beat Texas here at home here last week or so ago.
That's right.
First time in I don't know how many matches, but Ray Bichard and staff done a fantastic job.
They're ranked 4th in the country.
Big fella's just getting active on both ends, isn't he?
Swing the ball. And then back inside. And
what are you going to do if you're Javon Taylor?
Javon Taylor just looked like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Wait a minute, where'd all my help go to?
Azubuike, one of 3 McDonald's All-Americans on this team. Josh Jackson, Carlton Bragg, the other 2. Mikhailuk probably would have been an McDonald's All-American, but he's not American. Bragg, no. Vic.
Where did Gerald Vic come from on that play?
I don't know. I don't know. It came out of the rafters somewhere. All right, we'll step aside with them. You're watching the Jayhawk IMG Television Network. Jayhawks up 66-35. Morton from Lansing, Michigan. Backdoor play. Nice play out of the timeout for Javon Taylor.
Yep, nice little setup. Came right at Mikhailuk over there and he turned his head, forgot where his defender was, back cut him. A little weave action.
Bragg trying to get it inside. It was blocked away by Limel. And then stolen right back by Devontae Graham to Mikhailuk. He's pointing again. He's pointing again. How many rims is he going to break this year? What's the over-under on that?
Well, I hope he doesn't break one when we're doing the game. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. 4 dunks tonight for Azubuike. He's 4 for 7 from the field, by the way.
He's 4 for 5 for dunks. Nice job by Devontae Graham getting back and stealing that. Good hustle. Boy, it's a bad pass by Carlton Bragg initially, but he makes up for it with that nice little lob.
Wild shot put up by Hall. Bragg. Oh. He just seems out of sync, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Vic. And ball was kicked. And Gerald Vic said, nobody kicked that. I got it. It's going to go back to the Hornets.
Yeah, you're right. Carlton Bragg, sometimes, you get in that whatever you do is wrong mode. That's kind of almost where he's at right now. And it's frustrating because then you start pressing. And then it makes everything wrong.
Did he point? Did he point?
How about the speed of the 7-footer sprinting down? I didn't know it was him. I saw somebody flash by. I was thinking it was a guard.
7 feet, 275 pounds. He was 300 pounds. And then Bragg a half step late again. Azubuike with 11 points in the game. That's 4 fouls on Bragg now.
Yeah, the big fella deserves a rest after that sprint down the floor.
Coach likes to talk about the ceiling for a player, and he said, you know, as a Buki, he's just going to keep developing as this season goes on.
It's interesting. Bill Self letting Carlton Bragg battle through his mistakes right now, and that tells me that he's well aware, obviously, of Carlton Bragg struggling a little bit right now, but he's sticking with it.
It was different mentality. To Lucas, he doesn't get it though, and now here comes Morton. And Bragg reaches in and he's fouled out.
Well,
as Zabuki bringing down the house. Well, you look at crowd having a great time here tonight with the Jayhawks up 70-39. Just staring at that scoreboard in awe, and some Emporia State fans maybe not so in awe. Vontae Graham and crew have dominated this game. After about the first 4 or 5 minutes of the contest, it's been pretty much all Kansas.
yeah.
Brian Morton from Lansing Community College up in Lansing, Michigan. Transfer student. I always wondered how guys find their way from a place like Lansing, Michigan to Emporia, Kansas. From a junior college up in Michigan down to Emporia.
Well, it's interesting to me looking at the different rosters between Washburn, who was here the other day, who had players from all over Kansas, and then a little sprinkle outside, versus Emporia State. A lot of players from outside and a couple here and there from Kansas.
Yeah.
Player from Tonganoxie on this roster from Emporia State.
Yeah, a couple guys.
Sage City.
One from Shawnee Mission South, one from Shawnee Mission West, and of course Vandiver, the coach's son, grew up for the last 6 years anyway in Emporia.
Well, Sean Vandiver was a heck of a player, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Soft hands, score.
I was just about to say, I was trying to get a sponsor read in. This geography lesson brought to you by Google Maps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sean Vandiver, remember he and Stevie Wise played for the Colorado Buffaloes. He was an all Big 8 member while at Colorado.
He was just 1 year at Hutch, right?
Yeah.
And that was that 88?
88.
Yeah.
It was the same year they won the national title. Quite a year for the state of Kansas.
Had a lot of big men along his mold in the Big 12 at that time. Big men that soft hands, could extend range a little bit. Good shooter. Good pass by Frank Mason.
Lightfoot lost the handle. It goes out of bounds. It'll stay with KU.
Watch this pass by Frank Mason. He just splits the two defenders here. Doesn't even really see Mitch Lightfoot to get the pass through, but knows he's there.
Dribble from Lightfoot way too high and easily poked away. Oh, good extra pass. Now Mikhailu. Jordan. Mikhailu never gave up on the play. That's his second block.
And watch his feet coming around. He now realizes he's got to get back into play. Reaches in a little bit and sticks with it. Missed the rare shot on the outside from Mikhailu. He's been pretty much gold from the three-point line so far this season. Thought Lightfoot should have scored that ball inside though on that pass. He had a guard on him.
Well, that's just a player who was determined to do it all himself. Now Jackson. Coach K are going to stay up a little extra late watching the highlight of that one. Oh! Mikhailov. Nope.
Looked bad coming off his hand there.
His feet weren't set. That actually went off the leg of Jordan.
All right. Still figuring out who this guy is. Watch this move, the extension. And I'll tell you what, that's impressive. But the nice little behind the back out here in front of us was just so smooth and fast. I think he's gotten rid of the jitters. He's back playing big time basketball again.
8 points now for
love the aggressiveness, attacking the rim.
Josh Jackson.
Josh running point right now.
Kazubuki's having a fun time, isn't he? 13 points.
Hey, go stand a foot from the rim, and we're going to throw it to you.
Just point.
Yeah.
Just point at the rim. Okay, I got it.
We're going to draw the help, and then you just got to dunk it. That's it.
Right foot. Nope. Couldn't control it. Bouncing around. And off Emporia State.
It's the Azubuike land right underneath. Watch him. He's just going to stand to help. Comes over, and Josh Jackson with the nice little toss. Of course, you got to be able to draw the help too. That's helpful. And when you got a guy like Josh Jackson who can make anything happen with the ball.
Coach says that Jackson, he's tried him at 1 through 4 on the court.
Yeah, again, that's not your move yet, big fella.
Vic. Three-pointer by Ford. A little bit late, and Lightfoot really didn't seal his man.
Didn't have enough. Azubuike's going to get up the high post, pull the help away. Which Lightfoot last time down got caught underneath. Man able to get the wide open shot on the perimeter.
Jackson. He's playing now. He's playing.
I guess. Ooh.
He's just taking over the game. 11.7 rebounds for Josh Jackson. Most of it again in the second half. Jack Dale in the game from Tonganoxie, Kansas. Shot clock violation. Doesn't matter. Here we go. Somebody lost a shoe. Mikhailov.
That's Duncan Fort. He's lost his shoe down there. Freshman from Osage City. That'll be his claim to fame. I lost my shoe on the court.
Josh Jackson. Welcome to the Jayhawks. Final tune-up before the season begins for real in Honolulu. The Jayhawks leading it 84-46 with Chris Piper. I'm Dave Armstrong courtside here at historic Allen Fieldhouse on the Jayhawk IMG television network. Last time these two teams met a couple of years ago, Kansas won 109-56, kind of on that pace right now. And a foul on Vic. And it'll be 2 on LeGerald Vic. 5 guys in double figures for the Jayhawks tonight. Jayhawks have shot 62% in the game. Free throw by Malik McLemore. He's a freshman from Plano. A little full court pressure now by the Hornets. Easily broken. And one. Foul on Fisher.
Right, Colby getting some minutes inside. Nobody doubled down on him. Gets him on the shoulder, jump hook. Guy dribbles it a couple times. You might want to go dive on him and get him. Emporia State letting him go one-on-one in there.
Long rebound comes all the way out to Dale. Fisher. Giving Colby a little of his own medicine.
The left-hand jump hook. Added a couple feet to the other one. Oh my. Nice pass.
And a foul. That's on Jawan Emery.
Great quick look by Svi here. Nice extra pass by Dwight Colby, and then Svi right into it. I like the big men. They've gotten a lot of offensive rebounds this game where they've looked on the outside to kick it out. Good job of ball movement.
Mikhailuk has only scored 2 points in the second half, but he also has 4 rebounds and 3 assists in the game. Selfie's in the game.
I like that a lot. Javon Emery, after that foul, was woofing at the official. Sean Vandiver brought him over, chewed on him, said, "You go over there and apologize to him right now." Good stuff.
Got a tie up here. Alternate possession here. Will give the ball to the Jayhawks. With under 6 minutes to go.
See Mitch Lightfoot getting down on the ground there, getting dirty. What Bill Self looking for from him. It's 2-2-1 again by Emporia State.
It's got to be a little disconcerting.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's like I want him to shoot it every time he gets it 35, 40 feet from the basket.
I mean, it gets a little frustrating, yeah.
Just let him play. Not scolding the fans or anything. They're all our friends.
Hey,
I feel bad
they can
now.
find you on your Twitter or Facebook or whatever things you've got.
Yeah.
I'm anonymous.
You're caveman.
I'm off the grid.
You're off the grid. They're not finding you.
Yeah, good job, Lightfoot taking the charge.
Nobody has to worry about hacking your email account.
Email. That's Mitch getting over there. Nice job sliding his feet and holding his ground. I don't know why nobody has a fax number anymore.
Telex machine. Mikhailuk, strong move, and he'll go to the line.
Svi has been attacking, hasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Ouch.
Oof.
Got his feet taken out from him there.
Man, they'll take the wind out of you.
Yeah. You got to be careful there. Land on your hip. Get a hip pointer, and he's going to go away very soon.
Well, Fisher didn't stay around long. Only 7 minutes, picked up 5 fouls.
Mikhailuk is shooting 2.
Now 16 points in the game and gets a nice little slap from Coach Self as he goes over to the bench.
Yeah, had a good night.
Clay Young has checked in. That'll be a foul on Young.
Number 21, Clay Young. First. Team foul number 10. The Jayhawks. At the line, shooting 2.
Duncan Ford at the line.
Found his shoe.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what, he got down from one end and back though with the no shoe. That's pretty tough. That thing's like ice without a shoe.
Shot clock wasn't moving. Paul Jansen, veteran official, noticed that and try to get that corrected. Just under 5 minutes to go in this one, and then it's time to hop on a plane and head out to Honolulu, and then from Honolulu to New York City. That's the trip.
That's a long one.
Shot clock is under review.
No, we got to figure out the clock. Yeah, that's going to be one. I think that will go in the record book for Kansas for the longest road trip. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah. And I don't remember a time when KU started with 2 ranked teams.
Absolutely not. I asked Bill today, what's wrong with him? I mean, what are you thinking? You know, we were going through that schedule of all the teams that the Big 12's playing, and then Kansas, and I'm like, who's the different one here in this group?
Yeah, usually they'll start off with a Siena or something like that, get a couple of those types of games, and then, you know, of course, take on Duke. Coach Self would like to have a regular series with Indiana. He says it's good for the blue blood programs to get together on a more regular basis. By the way, both those games will be around 8:30. They're the second game on each case. The first game starts at 6 o'clock Central Time. So that's on Central Time. And so I'm guessing that second game will start somewhere in the neighborhood of 8:30, 8:45.
Yep.
So if you're hoping to watch those games, just set your DVRs.
Well, it's not like Kansas didn't have one of the toughest schedules in the country last year.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, what was it, number 2? Somewhere around there. If it wasn't, I'll just make it up and say it.
Sure. I believe you. It's tough. Well, last year, remember, the Big 12 was loaded.
Yeah.
And so that increased the degree of difficulty on the schedule.
Don't leave the guy with the ball. There are 2 guys, Dwight and Mitch Lightfoot, like, hey, you take it.
Telegraph pass. And the flush at the other end by Emery. There's a good look from Self that time. And Colby will try to make it a 3-point play.
A nice job by Tyler turning the corner. Threading the needle, getting it to Dwight Colby. Pass, getting an assist on that one, and Colby finishing.
And Sarden fouls out of the game. the way, in case you're wondering, the rebound totals tonight, 43-28.
Good effort by Kansas, especially in the first half. I thought Kansas was great on the glass in the first half.
So we got a timeout. You're watching the Jayhawk IMG Television Network. In doubt, when do they get to the 100 mark? 95-56 the score with 3:51 remaining. Single game tickets are now available for select Kansas men's basketball games. Don't miss the chance to join the tradition, be a part of the greatest home court advantage in all of college basketball. Tickets available by calling 800-34-HAWKS or KUTickets.com. Juwan Emery at the line. And Young's got the rebound. Tucker Vang is now in the lineup. Colby from Self again.
Yeah, Tyler, great look in there. Good patience.
2 assists for Tyler Self. Foul on Lightfoot, his first. Both teams over in the double bonus. McLemore at the line. Yeah, the competition gets much tougher against both Indiana and Duke. Indiana ranked number 11 in the country, Duke number 1. Young. Oh, did everything but make it.
Yeah, that's a good move. It's interesting, Malik McLemore's only played 6 minutes in this game. He was a leading scorer at Arkansas.
Danny Hodge took one away from Tucker Vang, and then a block. Here comes Lightfoot. There goes Lightfoot. Look at the bench. Oh, Mitch Lightfoot.
Wow. Watch him take this. He's thinking, all right, what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and finish it.
Ooh, that was strong. And then Vang.
Sean Vandenberg not happy right now.
He's going to call timeout. He is not happy.
Oh, boy.
Well, 27 times the Jayhawks have gone over 100 points in exhibition games since '78.
Well, Mitch Lightfoot got great athleticism, and look at the finish and watch the guys on the bench. If they're excited about this one. What's Frank Nixon doing?
Even Coach Self getting a smile out of that one.
Sean Vandenberg is so mad right now. He got in the huddle, and then he finally had to extricate himself from it and go stand there and try to cool off a little bit. Furious, probably more so on the Vang layup than anything.
Yeah.
Emporia State just let him drive right down the get 2. It's like, this isn't a game of horse, guys.
By the way, none of Vandenberg's players are in double figures again. No one got into double figures against Arkansas, and no one in double figures here. Hall the closest with 9. Shot clock at 5. And a reach in foul on Lightfoot.
Yeah, put his hands on him.
That's a nice camera angle.
That's perfect. And a nice shot of him. Well, Mitch Lightfoot, he's going to enjoy that one. He makes all that getting yelled at in practice.
Yeah, worth it a little bit.
Soothes the wounds a little bit.
He's still smiling.
Yeah.
What was funny too is then Dwight Colby is over there helping him up, and Emporia State was on fast break. Bill's over there yelling, "Go, go!"
Let him lay there.
Self. Kind of letting him play now. Tucker Zhang tracks it down. Nice backdoor play, Young. Oh, back to Lightfoot. Emery with another foul. And he will become the third Hornet to foul out of the contest. Lightfoot has a chance to go into double figures. He's sitting there with 9 right now. Mason 17, 16 Mikhailu, 13 Azubuike, 11 for Josh Jackson, and 10 for Devontae Graham. So Lightfoot joins that crew in double figures. 6 guys in double figures for the Jayhawks tonight, none for the Hornets.
Well, he's got length, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Athleticism. He's going to have to learn how to be able to get in there and hold his ground.
He'll get a little bigger, won't he? Not taller, just bigger. But I like his overall game. And the Jayhawks will just dribble out the game and win this one 104-62. Much better showing in the second exhibition.
Absolutely. Better energy, better on the defensive end, better on the glass. And it starts for real now. Friday, get ready.
Yeah, you go from 0 to 60 in just a few seconds. Real quick. Six in double figures, and the Jayhawks cruise to a victory over the Hornets, 104-62, and now Indiana and Duke. Should be a fun start to the season.
Yeah, I mean, hey, what a great way to start. You get a great trip to Honolulu. You go to Hawaii, play some basketball against a top 15 team, and then you go and play at one of the greatest places to play basketball, Madison Square Garden, against the #1 team in the country. If you can't get fired up for a great week of practice now, there's something wrong with you. Kansas is going to be ready.
So the Jayhawks win this one in convincing style, 104-62, our final score for Chris Piper and our entire Jayhawk IMG Television Network crew. I'm Dave Armstrong. Don't forget to join us a week from Friday when the Jayhawks take on Siena at 7 o'clock here on the Jayhawk IMG Television Network. Good night from Allen Fieldhouse.